the show. Today we're joined by Peter Carey, who is on the executive board of the library and is the vice president.
Vice President of the Brewster Library Board of Trustees, yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Hi, Peter.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. So with elections, you had a big win at the library recently.
Yes, we did. First of all, thank you for having me.
My pleasure.
And second, on behalf of the board, we want to thank all the Southeast voters who supported the referendum. It really means a lot to us to know we have that kind of support in the community.
So let's start with, what does the referendum mean to us?
It means a bigger, better, more modern library within the next 18 to 24 months.
Really, that soon?
Yeah, we're going to try and move ahead as soon as possible. We have one construction project that's going to be starting in the next few weeks, which has nothing to do with the referendum.
Which is what?
It's an addition to the basement level underneath what is now the main entrance.
Okay.
The original main entrance, which is actually on Main Street, is going to be converted back to the new main entrance with handicap ramps while this construction's going on. And then when we start doing the renovation and the addition, that's going to be revamped again totally
so
to be ADA compliant.
This first construction piece is from the grant money you got
It's from
previously.
a grant money we received from the state and Mid-Hudson Library System. It was a matching grant. We had been saving money to do some renovations, and we just so happened to luck out. They gave a matching grant at the same time, and we won it. And so that project is hopefully starting first week in December.
And what is the benefit of, what are we getting from that project? What is the benefit?
The benefit for that now is it's also included, it becomes part of the new addition. It will be office space and conference space. But as of right now, it's basically going to be, when it's completed, a little bigger conference area and storage while the main construction is going on.
Okay, so let's talk about the main construction.
Okay.
Explain to me what the plan is and how that's going to happen.
Well, the plan is to renovate the interior of the existing library, maintaining the historical significance, and
just stop you right there. How old is the library?
It's over 100 years old. The building itself is 101 years old, I believe.
So is it on the historic registry?
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah. Excuse me, no, it's not. We are in the process of getting it on there, so it does have some protections and certain guidelines we have to follow while renovating.
Okay. And was it built as a library originally?
No, it was.
It was built as a library.
The library started in the late 1800s, and then one of the local philanthropists gave the library some money, and they built that building, and it was just the one floor, that one main room.
Okay.
And then in the 70s, the back part that's there now was added.
Okay. Okay. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted
to
just sort of lay the groundwork before we move forward.
And now what we're doing is we have approximately 90 feet of green space in the back that could never be built on because it was our well and our septic area. But a few years ago, the village of Brewster and New York City went to town water and sewers. So those have been deactivated, and it's now usable space. So we're using approximately half of it, 45 feet or so maybe, and we're building a 2-story addition on the back of the library. There'll be I don't want to say a main entrance, but a secondary entrance like there is now, but much more
on the side
open,
by the children's room.
On the side by the children's room, yeah, in the parking lot between the Southeast Museum and the library. And as you enter the building, on the right will be a 50-seat community room, which we are also thinking of. It's not in the plans right now, but we're hoping to be able to make it where we can petition it off and make it 2 separate rooms if we need be at times to accommodate groups.
Did you feel like that was something people wanted?
Yes, absolutely. People were definitely looking for a bigger community space to hold events and things like that. And it's going to be attached to the library. However, it's also going to be available for rental after hours. And we will be able to shut that off completely from the rest of the library, but whoever's using that room will have access to the entrance and the restrooms.
And this is downstairs or upstairs?
Downstairs.
This is downstairs.
Downstairs. Part of the current children's room will become part of the new community area.
And what happens to the children's room?
It moves to what is now the front of the basement and gets enlarged. Right now, that's where the conference room is. That's where all the board meetings are. The Friends of the Library have their meetings there. and there's some Friends of the Library storage area, and our utilities. That's all going to be moved, and that area now becomes a children's room and a youth area. We're calling it like a teen area.
Okay.
So they're not mixed in with the very young kids.
Nice. That's definitely a good thing. Okay. So that's the downstairs. Now what happens upstairs?
Well, downstairs also, where the entrance is now, is going to be basically removed, and we're putting an elevator in.
Oh.
And upstairs, you'll come into the main reading room, the David Bruin reading room, which was just dedicated to Mr. Bruin, who was a lifelong supporter of the library and a trustee for 35, 40 years. Was recently named after him, which we are going to try and keep the historic significance as much as possible in there and upgrade at the same time. You're going to come in, the circulation desk will be back there, right in the middle of the room. Behind that, where the addition is coming into, there'll be office space, and for the director, whose office right now is right in the middle of the reading room. You know.
Are you expanding the number of books? Is that the plan?
Yeah, that's the plan. That, and to expand our programs. One thing we found, we have a lot of requests from community groups who want to use the library for events, and we just don't have the space. We've had to turn away Boy Scout groups, Girl Scout groups, which we hate to do, but we're booked on a first-come, first-served basis. Now we'll be able to accommodate a lot more of that.
Okay, and
especially with the community.
That's within your mission to have those organizations meeting at the library?
Yeah, if they want to use it, and it's available, yeah. And and then upstairs also, we're also, the whole building is going to be ADA compliant. We're not going to have the 8-foot stacks anymore. We're going to have 4 to 5-foot stacks.
Okay.
Movable stacks, so if we have a large crowd, we can move things out of the way, and we can do what we got to do there. There'll be a conference room for use for small businesses in the area if they need to have
Very nice.
Like a real estate lawyer needs to have a closing and the room's available. Welcome to use it.
Very nice.
And we're also going to have 4 or 5 smaller study rooms that seat anywhere from 2 to 5, maybe even 6 people.
A lot of libraries in the area have that, which are great for small group work and for homework groups and that kind of thing.
Right. And we're also trying to have an open floor plan, so when you're at the circulation desk, you'll be able to see everywhere in the library just by turning around, doing like a panoramic view, and that will also help us keep staffing costs low. We won't have to worry about having people running around checking things every 5 minutes.
Right.
The staff that's working can just look up from their desk and pretty much see everything that's going on.
Okay. So not increasing so much the titles, the amount of books, doing any kind of upgrade to that system, to your systems, or anything like that happening?
Basically what we're doing...
or is it all space management?
A lot of it is space management, but it also gives us more room for more books and periodicals. And
by lowering the racks, does that eliminate book space?
A little bit, but since we're adding space in the back, we will have more room.
You're making up for it elsewhere.
We're making up for it there.
Okay.
The big thing is we have, elderly patrons come in. They can't reach the top rack. Yeah.
I can't reach.
So.
Okay. And then... So you talk about community groups. So what is the goal here? I mean, you've done surveys. How did you figure out what people needed?
Patrons that would come in to use the library, we'd ask them what their experience was like, what they would like to see different about the library, if anything. And the number one complaint was lack of space. Number 2 was, even though it had a certain charm, it was outdated. It was very... So we want to...
So you're modernizing.
Yeah, we're modernizing.
Okay. Now, as far as computers and all that stuff, is that all up to date now in the library?
Yes, it is. We received an $8,000 grant from Terrence Murphy last year, and we bought laptops that are available for patrons to use in the building.
In the building, okay.
We have 4 desktops for people to use in the building, and they're constantly in use. I mean, constantly.
Great.
We are now going to have 12 desktops.
Oh, great, wonderful.
And
that's both in the children's room and upstairs.
Yeah, between the children's room and upstairs. Upstairs is going to have at least 8.
Great. Great.
And then if I'm not mistaken, we're doubling the amount of laptops to use also in the building. So we're pretty much quadrupling the amount of computers we're going to have.
That's great.
Yeah.
How are you going to, traditionally I've been in and around the library for a lot of years. how are we going to get people excited about this, get them in the door? Because, you know, it's a tight space right now, and it's not getting the usage that I think it should.
Right, and that's because people feel it's small.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the plan to get people excited about this? And
people are already excited now. I've been talking to people all week since the bond passed on this, and they can't wait to see this space and come in and try it out, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
Because right now they're saying that, you know, even though it's not as easy to go up to a neighboring library, it's more comfortable. And we want people to feel comfortable. We don't want them to
and the
feel
libraries in the
they're
area
fighting for
have
space.
spent the money already to redo themselves.
Yeah,
I mean,
Patterson
is a beautiful library,
Yeah.
as well as Carmel.
Carmel and well, the Reed Library I'm not real familiar with, but Mayapack about 10 years ago I guess redid theirs.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful
It's
facility.
a beautiful facility, yeah.
Patterson doubled the size of their place
Yes.
and did an open floor plan like we're
Right,
looking at.
Right. So that's kind of what you're following along with that
Yeah,
plan.
and they've increased their patronage just by doing that, just by making a few modifications to their collection.
Okay. Now, just the basic nuts and bolts. I mean, when are we open? What kind of stuff do we have going on regularly? I mean, aside from going in and reading a book, what else do I find at the library?
Right now, the library has the before hours program I was talking about. There's a Mahjong club on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. They come in around 9:30. We leave around 11:30. Library opens for business at 10. We close at 7.
Okay.
Monday and Wednesday we're open 10 a.m. to 7. And Fridays 10 to 4. Saturdays 10 to 3. With the exception of now being open on Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, the rest of the hours pretty much aren't going to change that much. We're thinking of making a strict 9 to 7, 5 days a week.
Okay. And as far as staffing goes, you don't have to really increase with the floor plan. You don't really need to do that.
With the floor plan and the amount of staffing we have now, no, we will not need to increase staff for a few years at the earliest.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and we already have that funding in place for that for a few years. So, yeah, there's no plans to increase our operating budget for a few years.
Now, while construction is going on, how is that going to affect the surrounding areas, the parking lot, the studio, the things that are around there? What is our projection?
While the main construction is going on, we're going to lose 5 or 6 parking spaces. It's going to be tough. We are doing our best to ensure that the library remains open during our regular hours throughout the construction process.
Okay.
I mean, people are saying, why don't you just close and do it all at once? And you're talking 6 months and no library.
Right.
People will start going other places.
There are people who rely on that space.
Yeah, and you know, if you close for 3-4 months, they go someplace else, they may not come back.
Right.
And we don't want that.
How's that going to happen? I mean, the library's a quiet space. That's going to be tricky.
Yeah, we're going to have to put up with some noise for a while, but I think it'll work out. The construction companies, whoever bids on it, will be asked, try and keep the noise to a minimum as much as possible. We'll be having most of the programs in the front of the building.
Okay.
So it's not disrupted by the construction in the back.
And how about the frontage up on Main Street? Nothing is that?
Nothing's really changing except with the current project that's starting in a couple of weeks, where the bottom floor is going to be expanded out about 14 feet. There's going to be a new entrance where the main entrance is now, and there's going to be a little courtyard, a rooftop courtyard, for lack of a better term.
Oh, very nice.
Similar to what you have here, a couple of tables, chairs, some planters. People want to come down at lunchtime and get a book and read a book. You have lunch on our...
Oh, very nice.
So hopefully that's done by the spring.
Okay.
And then...
and that's starting now?
That's starting hopefully first week in December.
Okay, and weather won't prevent that from happening?
No. Our director spoke with the construction company who won that bid last week, and they're hoping to have the footings and everything in by Christmas.
Before it freezes.
Yeah, before it freezes, and then everything else is just, if it's heavy snow, of course, they're not going to work.
We're going to have a terrible winter.
Yeah, so far it's been good.
And then, so this job there's no bids out yet for this job, so we don't really know when it's starting.
For the main project,
no. For the main project.
The project that's starting in December, the bids have been done, we awarded them, and that's...
So when is the projected start of the big project?
Well, we really can't say, because right now this is like a 100-step process, and we're on step 3.
Is that all?
Yeah, but the steps like 10 through 50 tend to go slow, and then the rest will just fall into place.
Once it sort of happens, it takes on a life of its own. And
it becomes a quick step after that, to use a dance term.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So right now, the next step is to get final drawings made and construction documents, and then go to the village planning board and have them approved, make whatever modifications they want to see, things like that. And then we have to go out to bid. We're hoping to go out to bid by the spring, just about the time we're finishing up the first project, and hopefully breaking ground end of next September in that area.
So about a year.
So about a year, and the whole process, the whole construction process, we're hoping won't take more than a year.
From breaking ground to finishing?
From breaking ground to finished product.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and so traffic flow in the town, of course, will not be affected?
No, it's not. No, we're not going to affect Main Street traffic at all. There will be some interruptions in traffic in the library lot between the studio around the corner and the museum, just due to the fact that there's going to be heavy equipment coming in and out.
Gotcha.
But other than that, it's no, it shouldn't affect Main Street or the parking on Main Street at all during it.
Okay, great. Can we talk a little bit about library programming, just in general, some of the things that happen at the library? I know you've got a lot going on right now already, and I know you want to make that even larger.
We have several programs. We have Story Time for Kids. We have Mom and Me. We have a bunch of things in our pamphlet here.
And are these programs well attended right now?
Yeah, I mean, we have waiting lists for virtually every program only because of the space limitations.
Okay.
You know, especially the children's program. Children's programs, we can run at the most 10 to 12 kids. With this new community room, we're going to be able to run 40 kids. And
there's a need for that. You feel like there's enough people?
Absolutely. Our waiting list for those programs are 20 to 25 kids long sometimes.
And are a lot of your programs done bilingually?
Some of them are. Yes, we do have 2 clerks and a high school, we call them pages, who are bilingual. So
the children's programs, are some of them done in Spanish?
Some of them are done in Spanish, yes. Sometimes it's just, they're geared for English, but we have Spanish-speaking children in there, and the page or the clerk can speak to them in Spanish, if they're having difficulty. So.
Okay, great. So tell me how you got involved in this. I've known you for a long time, and I know that you're passionate about the library.
Yeah,
how did that happen?
Several years ago, well, probably close to 10 years ago, my wife taught computers for seniors at the library.
Okay.
And I started going down there, you know, taking her down there, driving and things like that. I'd have coffee in town while she ran the thing. And I really got to know the village better. I mean, I'd been here 10, 15 years at the time, and I never really walked the village. I took time then, I walked it, I saw how busy it was. I saw the people that were coming in and out and using the library. And a friend, neighbor of yours, Chris Adams, he was on the board at the time, and he had mentioned to me that they were looking for trustees, as they were losing several trustees. So I gave it a shot, and I'm glad I did. It's been a great 6 years, and I felt we've really helped the library grow. We've got a new director.
I was going to say, what is the job of the trustees, basically? What is your...
Basically, the job of the trustee is the financial overseeing of the library. We do set policy. A lot of stuff is left up to the director and their discretion, but we do have policy. Like, the library never really had any personnel policies for time off, vacations, sick time, what you got paid.
Now it's being run as a business. Now
we're actually running it as a business. In the last year and a half, we've completely redesigned. Basically, we threw out the old book and started from scratch.
That's a good thing now. I think that's a really healthy thing.
And now even our part-time high school pages get sick time, a prorated sick time. They get vacation time. Depending on how many hours a week they work, they apportion.
So is everybody who works at the library a paid employee, or do you have volunteers at the library as well?
We do have some volunteers. The Friends of the Brewster Library come in once in a while, but their numbers are dwindling. They're getting on in years, and it's a little more difficult for them. As a matter of fact, they've even asked me if anyone wants to help out. They're looking for new members to help run it.
This is a great opportunity to say, anybody out there who's got a couple extra hours in the week, and you want to go to the library, contact the library and get involved. You
can talk to any of the clerks, or you can talk to the director, Gina Loprinzo, and she can put you in touch with the right people. The Friends of the Library have been a huge help to us in fundraising.
The Friends of the Library used to run the secondhand bookstore.
Right, that was across the street.
Across the street, right.
And then it was a town facility that was donated to us to use. then the town needed it for storage,
Right.
and the book sale kind of went by the wayside.
And did that hurt the
after that.
Friends of the Library organization, you think?
Yeah, it hurt their membership because they didn't really have anything to do except fundraising, and some of them just kind of lost interest, I guess, or some of them moved, several, passed on, unfortunately. So their numbers have been declining. They don't have any real, they have leadership right now, but even those people are getting on in years, and they'd rather turn it over to someone new who wants to get involved. So if you want to volunteer and help the library,
especially because it's going
become a friend.
to be growing. It's going to be growing, and your volunteers. Every organization needs them. I mean, they really do help move things forward.
Oh yeah, volunteers definitely help the library. With some of the programs, if we have a big, child or youth thing, the friends would come and help with that and help the kids make their craft or their ice cream sundaes.
Right.
Like we have a social every August at the end of the year.
Now I was going to say you have a very large summer program as well for the library.
Yeah, the Battle of the Books started last year, I believe it was, and local youth come and sign up, and they battle other libraries with how many books they can read over a certain amount of time.
Which is an amazingly wonderful thing.
I think we came in second last year.
Oh, that's pretty good.
We did well. We did well.
Good.
So there is interest. There are people who want to use the library. They want to come. Their complaints are it's too small. I can't push my stroller around. Things,
right. So basically, in your demographics, what would you say are your stronger demographic people who are coming in, and who are your weakers? If you had to look at your population.
The older population use the library a lot, especially the computers. We even have a couple who've become so savvy they bring in their netbooks or notebooks, the little Chromebooks, and they use our high-speed internet, wireless internet.
Okay.
And the younger kids, the parents who've just moved into town, we tend to have a lot of toddlers and younger kids coming in.
With their parents.
Yeah. And our homework help, which is on hold right now because of the construction we're going to be starting, that's basically middle schoolers, and we get a good turnout for that.
Okay.
But,
so it's that other age group, that
the high schoolers and the young adults.
And the young adults.
Yeah, and the new building will have a certain section off the children's room for them, like a little lounge area.
That'll make a huge difference.
Yeah, we're like
they don't want to sit with 2-year-olds.
Right, 6 or 7 of your 13 or 14-year-olds can come and hang out.
Right.
Or even 16-year-olds from the high school can come and just hang out and read a book, do some homework, get some tutoring help if you have to.
Now, the tutoring help that you offer, is that, aside from when the construction is going on, is this for this construction period it's not going on, or for the further construction period?
We haven't decided on the further construction, but it's on hold right now because the area where we do it is what we're renovating.
Okay. And who comes in and actually does that? I'm just curious.
We sometimes the part-time clerks and the high school pages we have do that. We do have a lot of people, National Honor Society kids from the high school, who come in with kids they tutor privately.
Okay.
And we have a research room in the back that's semi-quiet.
Right.
But when you got 3 or 4 of them in there doing all their work at the same time,
it gets loud.
It gets a little much. So that's why we decided to put in the private study rooms.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, your son Jeffrey tutored my son Peter in there when there was 2 other tutors going on at the same time, and it would frustrate my son because he needs to focus.
Right.
And for someone like that, these private rooms will really make a difference for a lot of the kids.
Yeah, and there'll be a waiting list, I'm sure. I know in other libraries that I've been in, kids come home out of school and they sign up real quick for those rooms, and they want to do their homework.
We're hoping there won't be. We're hoping to have enough room to accommodate everyone. They can, as long as the room's available, they can use the community room. If it's one person being tutored, if someone wants to tutor 15 people, if we got the room, we're going to try and accommodate them. But the thing that's been killing us is the local groups such as the Boy Scout and Girl Scouts.
Okay, they don't have places to meet.
And we have to turn them away because it's on a first-come, first-served basis.
Yeah.
And then they go up to the schools, and the school charges some of them.
Yeah.
We don't charge them.
Right.
Okay? If it's after hours, there would be a nominal fee for someone using the rooms just for cleanup. We're not looking to extort money from the public or anything. We're looking to help the public, and we'll do whatever we can to do that. And my fellow trustees are all also very excited about this. They feel the same way. A lot of them are a lot more passionate than I am.
I think it's wonderful. I think our community is growing, and I feel like it's a time to do this. It's necessary.
The community is definitely growing. I mean, we've definitely added a lot of population in just the last few years.
Yes, and I, at the studio, we're right across the parking lot, And we work cooperatively with you guys, and there is just a lot going on right now, and I think it's all very positive.
Well, there have been times where your programs have come to us and we haven't been able to accommodate them.
Right.
And we hate saying no to anybody.
Me too.
But we just have to sometimes, and
Yeah.
hopefully we won't have to use that word anymore.
That's terrific.
Yeah.
I am really excited about the process.
We all are. Even the people who I spoke to this week who voted no
are still happy about it.
are still happy, but they voted no for financial reasons, and I can understand that.
Yeah.
Although this is basically going to cost the average homeowner in Southeast an extra 46 cents a week.
It's not even a cup of coffee.
Yeah, not even a cup of Starbucks a month, and
No.
you're going to have a nice big
That's huge.
modern library.
That's a good way to put it. It's put it into perspective. It's not even a cup of Starbucks.
Yeah, and we're also the other things we're trying to do is we're trying to use as much, what's the word I'm looking for, green stuff as possible to save money. We're going to be using energy efficient windows, building materials.
So the actual running costs will stay low.
Right. So we're going to, and even though those cost more, we're going to save a lot of money in our heating
Good.
costs.
So you're making smart decisions.
Yeah, we're trying to. We're absolutely trying to.
That's great.
And, and a lot of people like that idea too. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I work in a green building, so I understand that. It definitely makes a difference.
It does.
Well, I am so excited. So we should look for progress soon, but it's a small progress.
Baby
and
steps,
then
as we're
baby
calling
steps,
it. Yep.
and then big progress maybe next fall.
Yeah,
if people
hopefully,
have
yeah.
questions of what's going on, can they reach out to the trustees and ask questions? Is there a venue for that?
There is an email address, but your best bet is to just email the director, Gina Loprinzo,
At the library.
at the library, and you can stop in, you can call and ask.
And volunteer.
And volunteer. Come in and volunteer and help out. I mean, we
Terrific.
can use people in every aspect. I think we even have a trustee position open if anyone wants to
There you
apply.
go. There you
And,
go. Well,
yeah. So
again,
just,
thank you
we will also be updating as things move
Great.
forward on our website,
Great.
brewsterlibrary.org. So
Thank
there'll be a
you.
lot of information on there
Thank you for
in the
coming.
coming weeks.
And thank you for enlightening us all so we can get ready for this process.
You're welcome, and thank you for
And
having me.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.